Joined right now by Ben Pyle, who's a writer and co-founder of Climate Debate UK. A very, very good afternoon to you, Ben.
Good afternoon, Julia.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you and I, we've talked a number of times, and I know I was following you on social media, being a fantastic campaigner on just trying to get some sanity into debate on net zero, i.e. we shouldn't be following net zero. But normally we'd be debating or talking about some madness that is being pushed by Ed Miliband, the net zero secretary. But very, very, very good news. This is in the Telegraph today. Industry sources have told us that Ed Miliband is poised to ditch targets for heat pumps amid budget cuts that threaten his ambitions. The government had declared that from 2028, this is the previous government, 600,000 heat pumps would be installed every year in British homes as part of the net zero drive. It is, of course, a fraction of that because no one wants them and they cost a fortune. But they've still got that. Technically, they've got that target. He's going to drop it. How confident are you that will actually be dropped, and why should it be dropped?
Well, it does sound like good news, but I'd say we need to be cautious about this.
Ben.
I'm sorry. It's good news. I mean, this was a Boris Johnson initiative. He said it within weeks of coming to, taking the top job at the Tory party. Yep. He said we're going to ban boilers, and everyone who thought that Boris was sort of going to take us away from the ridiculous rules that Europe seemed to impose on us, we're really disappointed, and he went fully into the green stuff. Yeah,
Carrie Johnson has a lot to answer for on that front.
Well, I mean, the buck stopped with him.
Yeah,
really.
Of course.
But then Rishi Sunak's government, I think, finally started to realise that this was going to be a really, really chaotic and catastrophic move. Because we've had lots and lots of policies over the years that have tried to give people free money to help them help kickstart the sort of energy efficiency in homes and reduce people's CO2 emissions. And then the emphasis switched, and they said, right now, retailers and manufacturers, you've got to sell a certain proportion of heat pumps rather than gas pumps, or you're going to face a fine. And consumers turned their noses up at that too. So all these policy failures have stacked up. And this has been the most catastrophic one, because it turns out it's actually really, really, really expensive to retrofit a home.
Well, exactly. But also, crucially, there's actually a rule, all new homes have to have heat pumps. But again, they're totally unsuitable for an awful lot of the homes that are built in this country. Ones that have been built from the 1950s onwards, or homes now, and they are very, very expensive. And here's a small point worth making as a girl who has a hot water bottle in June. I feel the cold. I'm a southern softie, what can I say? Is that they don't work very well.
They don't work very well, and they need a lot of insulation, a lot of other upgrading. You can't just put a heat pump into where the central heating boiler used to be. And now central heating boilers are fantastic technology.
Oh my God, that's the greatest
thing.
They
can fit in a kitchen cupboard, just a foot and a bit wide and a couple of feet tall. And you barely even notice it. It's a wonderful invention.
And they're quiet, which heat pumps aren't as well.
That's right. And when a few years ago, I think it was Hartley-Brewer council, they tried an experiment. They retrofitted about 3 or 4 local authority owned homes, very modest local council houses, 2 up, 2 down type things, and they discovered that they'd have to spend £60,000 to upgrade to upgrade these homes, just to achieve like a £300,000 or £400 saving off their energy bill, and that was before we had these huge spikes.
Quite apart from the fact, again, most people, if it's councils don't have the money they can barely provide the basic, legal services supposed to require, provide like social care and things like that, and care for children with special needs. Let alone do that, there isn't the spare money. And most homeowners, whether you're a landlord, and I know there's lots of rules regarding this with landlords in terms of their properties, or whether you're a homeowner, I remember, we had to put a new boiler in. I remember saying to my husband, I just feel so lucky to be in a privileged situation where a new boiler, it isn't catastrophic for our finances, whereas for millions of families, it really, it really, really is. But a heat pump is way more, quite apart from, as you say, you just put a boiler in the same cupboard in the kitchen or the bathroom, whereas a heat pump, you're going to have to be digging stuff up, redecorating, doing stuff in the garden. But as we've said, and you and I have said this for years, whether it's about cars and whether you have to buy electric cars or not, whether it's heat pumps, solar panels, all these policies, none of these policies and targets survive any contact with reality.
That's right, because these problems, these costs fall on ordinary people, and ordinary people can do the basic arithmetic that's required to work out that it's not worth spending £60,000 on upgrading a home to save £400. That's an absurd waste of money.
Ta-da!
But
it's like we can do maths.
Right. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like any of the powers that be, any of the people that occupy the Quangos, Ofgem, who's supposed to look after interest, the Climate Change Committee, they seem particularly averse to this kind of basic
Ben, you
maths.
know as well as I do, it is a religious cult. It is not based on maths or science. We'll have to leave it there. Time's against us, up against the clock. Ben Powell, writer, co-founder, Climate Debate UK. Great to have you on the show. Do follow his Substack and also on social media as well. Just final word to Claire Pearsall on this. Your face is a picture, by the way. Just a total, this is all madness face.
But it is all madness.
Your lot, just as bad as this lot.
Yeah, and I disagreed with it when my lot did it, but I don't want windmills,
Tory.
I don't want solar farms everywhere, and I don't want a heat pump. I like to be warm, and I like it to be efficient.
It's really, really straightforward. I will buy a gun. I will not allow anyone to enter my home and enforce me to have a heat pump. I want my central heating, and I want it on high all year round. My husband sees the bills and he goes, "What?" But anyway.